Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the committee and staff. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Audit and Resources Committee. My name is Councillor Steve Holes, and I am chair of this committee and will be conducting the meeting tonight. This meeting will be video recorded and will be uploaded to the council's website. More information is available on the council's website if you so wish to read it. Just a word of warning, we are using a microphone tonight so that it can be picked up by the audio. That does mean that it be passed around from time to time to various members who may wish to speak. Can you all hear me? You can hear me now. Okay. Item 1 then is apologies for absence. I believe we have 2, which is Councillor George Baker and Councillor Steve Beer. Any other absentees? No, thank you very much, members. Item 2 then is declarations of interest. Do members have any declarations of interest they wish to make? If so, please indicate now in the normal way. And if anything comes up during the meeting that you think may be an interest, please declare it and we'll record it. Item 3 then are the minutes of the last meeting. I need a proposer and a seconder. Proposed Councillor Bourne, seconded Councillor Park. And just to confirm that the item regarding the independent member or independent cooperative members for the Audit and Resources Committee, that's gone live now, so applications are being received. Any other comments on the minutes? Okay, can I have a vote then, please? All in favour of accepting them? Any against? Any abstentions? Duly carried. Thank you very much. Item 4 is public participation. That's a general invitation. If any member of the public has anything they wish to raise that's not on the agenda tonight. No indications. In that case, we'll move to item 5, which is the service land and Lower Attrill financial update for 1 Horton Heath and the operational approvals. And I'll ask Sarah King to introduce the report.
Does that one? Yes, I think it does, doesn't it? Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming along this evening just before Christmas. I think I'm going to start by mentioning the best value notice and the SIP report that came out yesterday. I just want to make it clear to members of the committee that that doesn't have an impact on the decisions that Cabinet will be asked to make later on today, which are related only to this report. So that's a bit of background. The report tonight, which I'm sure you've all read, is quite comprehensive, looks at the capital budgets into the future for the infrastructure over the next 10 years for the Horton Heath project, including Section 106 contributions and setting up sales and lettings teams into the future. Also recommends capital budgets for the delivery of the first 381 homes at the Lower Acre, which is our first actual homes come out the ground on this site. Important to note, the numbers in the report are substantial. They don't relate to our borrowing, which should only increase by an additional 9 million, as set out in the prudential indicators. They look at the approval for capital budget into the future, and as we come up with future phases, they'll all come back to this committee and to Cabinet for scrutiny and for approval based on their individual business cases. Also, within the recommendations, there's a delegation to both myself and the leader of the council to approve an award of a contract for the Tier 1 work, which is an extension of the infrastructure to get it up to, I'm going to say, to like foundation slabs for the housing. And there's a delegation because we didn't know the final contract sum, which is why this meeting is just before Christmas, because we were hoping to get the final number for approval for Cabinet. So we've asked for 8.9 million approval, which is based on the estimates of the commercial team. We have had the tenders back. We have the number, which is about £300,000 less than that. I'm still going to ask for delegation from Cabinet. I was going to hope to change it, but I think it needs to be delegated because of all the detail behind the tender evaluation, which you and the Cabinet won't have a chance to see in order to make that decision. Also within the report, the procurement strategy for going forward is outlined, because obviously after we get to the foundation slab, the next stage, which we'll come back to you with, is going to be the building of the actual housing. So we've trying to set out the procurement strategy so you can see what we're doing going forward. And Cabinet are also going to be asked to approve the purchase of the sales system, because obviously building the houses means we have to do something with them, which will be selling and letting. So the sales system will help us, will enable us to take those sales and push them through the process. Included within the many Section 106 contributions is the delivery of the primary school, and we're asking for some capital funding to look at the initial feasibility of how we deliver that and take that forward. And we're also asking for approval to start work on the next stage of the brief for the new phases of the home and the old story. So that, in summary, is the recommendations we'll be coming forward with. So the report goes into quite a lot of detail. There's a lot of appendices with a lot of numbers in, which hopefully give you the comfort that when you look at all of the business case, and the business cases primarily focus on the lower acre because that's the thing we're looking at first, you'll see the revenue surpluses that a lower acre should generate based on approved figures included once the sales and lettings begin. So that shows you the revenue surpluses that could be coming back to the council in the future. So as I said, there's a lot of detail in the report, the appendices. You have a lot of people here in the room who can hopefully take any detailed questions. So yeah, over to you for questions, members.
Thank you. First of all, can I ask if there's any member of the public that wishes to speak on this item? No? Okay, thank you very much. Can I ask if there are any non-committee members amongst the members here present who wish to speak? No? Okay, thank you very much. In that case, I'll move on to the committee and ask if there are any questions. Yes, Jim. Councillor Tidridge.
Thank you. I'd like to start by thanking Sarah and also Tom for asking some questions today. And I do, of course, have a couple more. Firstly, the increase in the Section 106 for nitrates and phosphates has gone up to 15 million, just under for nitrates, and 9 million phosphates. That's 24 million. Can I just confirm that those credits will effectively be recycled within the council in terms of nitrate and phosphate projects?
Yes, that's the intention, isn't it?
What do you mean by recycled?
I think go to other parts of the council who will be spending them as credits for projects like, for example, Stoke Park Farm.
Just grab the microphone. I think the answer in principle is yes.
Could you summarise the question? We were struggling to hear it a bit.
Yeah, so within the Section 106 breakdown, there's a lump sum of £24 million for nutrient offsetting. So that's nitrate and phosphates. The question was, will that sum of money be recycled for other green infrastructure projects in the borough? Essentially, I think was the point. Yes. So the nitrate and phosphate business plan is separate to One Horton Heath. So the transactional basis is that the Horton Heath scheme will either produce credits and use some of that capital expenditure on site. What it can't deliver on site will be used to buy credits from the council's offset scheme. So once the offset scheme as a standalone business case has recovered its initial outlay and the ongoing management and maintenance costs, it will produce a surplus, and that surplus will be for members to decide how that is spent going forward. It won't specifically be the £24 million from the One Horton Heath payment though. So it's yes, but kind of not quite how you asked the question. Yes, you want my opinion.
Thank you. Secondly, can I just clarify I've got the right costs in front of me? So the total cost for the scheme as of today, as proposed, would be 481.7 million. October 23, it was 327.5 million. In 2021, it was 232.9 million. And in 2020, it's 181.4 million. I just check I've got that right, please.
The figures are correct, but it's a bigger, different, they're not directly comparable to different things, but yes, your figures are correct.
Thank you. Next question. What is the ceiling cost for One Horton Heath staying within legal parameters for borrowing?
Well, there isn't really a ceiling cost. It's more about the business case. So we'll bring each of those back to you, and then we would revise our prudential indicators based on the borrowing figures we'd need to take forward.
Thank you. And one question. This is actually one for Democratic Services. On the 13th of December, a press release was put out by the council saying that the council was set to approve the update tonight. Set to approve doesn't imply to me that we're making a decision tonight. Can I just clarify that we are set to make a decision, that we are able to make a decision tonight, and this, with the wording of set to approve doesn't compromise that, please.
I don't believe it does, but I do.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have other questions? Councillor Cressy, you can pass the microphone.
Thank you very much. Can I just clarify, all these figures in the document before us are quite staggering. The expenditure to date so far has been for all the infrastructure we've had for the highway, the ground system, etc. So tonight we're looking for, when you say the service overheads up to ground, are you going to put a base in for the house, that money, and how you'll be coming back to us for the extra cost to build the house? Is all included in this figure tonight?
It's all included, so this includes the direct building of the first phase of houses as well.
Yeah, that's right, because so many figures in there that it
No, that's
reads slightly different. And the 75,000 for the work on the staff delivery of the new primary school, what's that actually for? Right by your mouth.
Derek, can you hold the microphone closer to your mouth, please?
Okay. Yeah, sorry, go back. The capital funding of 75, the staff delivery of the primary school, what's actually for? Just say that.
So the total budget to deliver the primary school is included in the recommendation at number 1.
Yeah.
The 75,000 probably doesn't need explicitly approving, but we're trying to make members aware that we are starting to incur money against that section 106 commitment. We need to come back early in the new year with fuller details about the self-delivery approach, if indeed that's the one we take. And the 75,000 is an acknowledgement that we need to engage some external consultants to help us shape up what the brief would look like, the legal and technical implications of our self-delivery.
Just one last comment. So this evening we're being asked to approve this funding for completion of phase 1 construction of houses.
And the service land for the whole site.
Yeah,
Yes.
for that. Thank you very much.
Councillor Alex Bourne.
Thank you. So I'm just seeking clarification because there's been a lot of misinformation in media and social media about this report and the meeting today. So we've got some very large figures here, and it starts off with approving an additional capital budget of 15.8 million. Just to make it absolutely clear, we're not asking to borrow an extra 115.8 million. We are looking to allocate that, and it's already been budgeted for. So people don't have to worry that we today are asking to borrow another 115.8 million.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I think I've read this report several times, actually, as you'd expect, and
Need to point it at your mouth, Steve.
that's like that.
There you go.
I've read this report several times, as you'd expect. I don't like the sound of my own voice, so I apologise. And yes, the questions that have been asked, I had going through my own head. But what we need to also make clear is that this project is totally separate to the asset portfolio, which we also have responsibilities for. And this particular project, it says in the report, is still financially viable. And I understand from your figures and what we're saying that's the case. And we also have to bear in mind that this project isn't necessarily to make money for the council. It's about delivering houses. And that message has been coming through on a regular basis. So therefore, it's a totally different arm to the council's operation. And my understanding is that none of the monies that are coming forward for this project will be allocated to this project and be used for anything else within the council's operation, correct?
Yeah. So any of the surpluses that this scheme generates, it's up to the council what they do with those services. So it's a very important point. We're not using those potential surpluses to underwrite our revenue budget at all. That stands on its own. If this scheme then generates, which I'm sure it will, surpluses in the future, that's additional money for the council to decide to spend how it feels fit.
Thank you. And the borrowing, or the monies that we're talking about to cover the whole project timescale all the way through, I think it was 2033, that we're mentioning in the report tonight, that's not to be drawn down. I think Alex alluded to it. It's all in one go. It's drawn down as it's needed, subject to coming back to committee and back to cabinet for approval on some of those future requirements.
Yeah, some elements will be drawn down. So some of the section 106 contributions, when that's formally signed, some of those will fall over time as we go forward. Some things such as the sales and marketing, we're putting in an allowance that we think will be the amount we'll need over the next 10 years. But obviously, we'll come back with a bit of a plan for how that does shape up, and then those numbers may change over time. What we've tried to do here is give the maximum for the infrastructure and those additional costs so that members can see the impact this will have over the next 10 years, but we'll firm up a little bit as we go along.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other questions? Okay, can I have a proposer and a seconder that we note the report is going to cabinet later? Proposed Councillor Bourne, seconded Councillor Park. No further questions, no further comments. I'll ask members to vote on that then. All in favour? Objections? One, Councillor Tidridge, and abstentions. That's duly carried. Thank you very much. Okay, item 6 is any other business which was put on here for a particular reason. One of the things that came out of the peer review group interviews was that we should look towards strengthening our position on audit and resources and getting experts in from outside. But also we had an additional member came onto the committee who's got experience in this field, and that was Councillor Pretty. And as a result, we have 2 positions on PEG, which is the Procurement Executive Group, which is covering a lot of this sort of issue. development, etc., and the projects that we have going forward. And Councillor Irish and myself have been representing the committee on that body, and Councillor Irish has very kindly agreed to step down so that Councillor Petty, with his experience and knowledge in those particular areas, can go on to that committee or onto that working group, and it should, in theory, help us a lot and help use his experience in that field. And I just need to clarify that members are happy with that. So I would ask for a proposer and a seconder. Proposed Councillor Bourne, seconded Councillor Irish. And can I also put on record, thank you very much for your work on that group, and much appreciated. So can I ask all those in favour? Okay, I believe that's unanimous. Thank you. Well, you may have abstained, Derek. I'm not sure. Okay, thank you very much. The next meeting is the 16th of January 2024, 6:15 on the ground floor here. I think that we have the outside auditors coming in. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, and you're welcome, members, to stay for cabinet if you so wish.